Welcome to the Workies podcast, the ultimate podcast dedicated to navigating the dynamic landscape of the home service industry. Delve into the world of business strategies, innovation, and growth as we bring you insightful discussions on the latest trends, success stories, and expert advice. We're excited to be joined by our guest, Lorne Sederoff, VP of Channel Development at SearchKings, Canada's premier Google and Microsoft advertising agency. With expertise in digital marketing, Lorne leads the charge in developing scalable and profitable lead generation campaigns for small and mid-sized businesses. SearchKings, known for helping over 6,000 customers across North America, specializes in connecting companies to their customers through effective search, remarketing, display, and video advertising. Lorne, welcome. Thank you so much for being on here today.
Thanks for having me, Caitlin.
Yeah, of course. So I know I gave a brief intro of you already, but wanted to, have you share your journey a little bit about how you got to your current role as the VP of Channel Development at SearchKings.
Yeah, so my role really developed with the Google Local Services program. When that program launched back in 2017, early 2018, it was in select categories. SearchKings saw that as a real opportunity to grow our network and support partners, whether those are associations or franchises or manufacturers. And so the role really developed into how can we engage with partners who are impacted when actual contractors are growing their businesses. And you think about a roofing manufacturer who might be incentivized by market share growth in a specific city. How can we help those contractors ultimately acquire new businesses, new customers, and then ultimately purchase more product from that manufacturer? And our advantage there was while we're a large company, we have 118 employees, we are incredibly shifty and moved quickly to fill the lane of a product that was super disruptive to Google's advertising space and super important to contractors. So the journey began back then of figuring out everything we could about the platform, becoming platform experts, and then figuring out who is motivated to be at the top of the page.
I love that. And I mean, Google is something we use every single day, so it makes a lot of sense. I'm curious for you, what drew you to this space originally?
I have a love for home service businesses in particular. I love the idea that a company can improve its profit margin and improve its take home. Ultimately, it's going to impact their family and how much they have for the new house, for the vacation, for their kids' college education. Those are sort of like the core of what a home service business is motivated by. And getting to know home service business customers became for me a little bit of a love fest, in that I saw it as an opportunity to help people truly do something with their families that if they were misguided, they might actually not hit those same targets. So, a family that's putting 5 or 7 or 8% of their revenue into marketing, quote unquote, that better be in the right places. And if it's going into an agency's pocket to help them organically, I didn't feel great that was the best move for people that I had worked very closely with. I wanted that to be how much they put in, how much should they get out, and then should they do it again the next month? And so that for me became a real motivator to see whether it's a small sprinkler company, a pest control company, you name it, being able to know, hey, this is working for me. I know how much I'm paying into Google. I know how much I'm paying this Lorne guy to help me. That feels good. That's the right way to approach business. It's super transparent, and that's why we pride ourselves on that kind of work.
I love that. Yeah, especially because having the value there, right? It's for the people is what I'm hearing in that. And I think is what helps shape businesses to be successful, right? Is the humanity aspect. Speaking of kind of transitioning here, but as we know, AI has taken storm, right? It's reshaping many industries. How do you foresee AI impacting the digital marketing strategies for field service providers in the near future?
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about in the last 4 days the impact. We could talk about the impact over the last year.
Mhm.
I think anyone who's curious about AI and is learning regularly is in a good position, whether that's learning through the feed that you get on your phone or whatever it is that pertains to your business, asking your distributor and your manufacturer, how are they integrating AI? How is the call center integrating AI? How's the software? Everyone is doing something, um, but some people are going to win with this. And so, you know, we can go into the role that ChatGPT played since it came out in 2022 and what SearchKings has done about it. We've certainly transformed our business because for those of you who don't know what we do, we generate leads for customers. So if we're generating leads, how can we use AI to improve that system? And our co-founders and our team spent a lot of time. And what we've developed, which is constantly changing, is essentially a lead evaluator tool in real time that's custom built for the industry. So if you're a roofer and you're with SearchKings, our AI called Call Intelligence is evaluating the lead when it comes in for revenue opportunity. So is this the type of customer we want calling this business? And when we identify that it is that profile, we signal to Google through a bidding model inside Google Ads that never existed before. And we signal to Google, go get us more customers like this one. The only way to do that is with real-time conversion data and real-time analysis of the call. So now we push to Google to say, go get us more customers like this one. They live in this zip code. They're having this issue. This is their search history. Find us another 5 people like this one. And then how do we show our customers what to do with that phone call? So now we know what happened on the call. The call's summarized. It's scored. We have a call analysis that's instant. Now we give that to our customer to say, there's someone who said that they need their roof repaired because there's 10 shingles on their driveway, but they have to leave now to go pick up their kid from school and they'll call you back. Well, what are you going to do with that information? Are they going to call you back? Are they going to call another company? Is their husband also calling companies? And so our real-time alerts that were developed to say, perfect lead, but the customer says that they are going to call around or look for someone else, go call them, go text them. Because what we feel is the AI can bring you better data, but a human reach out with empathy, whether it's call or text, is still absolutely needed in home services. We don't feel you should ever let AI communicate with your customers, new customers. Once they're a customer and you want to automate your billing or your newsletters, great. But a new customer should have a person speaking to them with empathy or a person texting them with empathy. And so, you know, that's over the last year what's happened. I mean, in the last week, we see ChatGPT search. There's a need to optimize your business for AI search. And AI search is coming. And so we are once again being super gritty and ready to pivot and helping our customers so that when you ask the AI to recommend a roofer or a pest control company or whatever, what's the AI going to choose? We know what Google chooses. That SearchKings, we continue to evolve, we monitor, that's our business. But what is ChatGPT going to search? What is ChatGPT going to select? And how are they going to select this HVAC company compared to that one? And so that's the evolution. That's what we're working on. Being optimized for AI is, as we see it, super important. But you know, Google ranks supreme still, so we'll focus on that as well.
100%. And I think it's so important too. Like AI is just like one functionality and one tool that we're going to use to be able to continue to grow as both companies, right? For Workies and SearchKings. As we know, we're partnered with each other. So I'm curious, like with the collaboration between Workies and SearchKings, what do you think the unique value is to offer that we have to offer to the field service providers that they may not get from other solutions or standalone services?
I think knowing the customer profile and taking very good care of a customer is why we are aligned with Workies. Our approach is we're going to have a great technology to improve the ad platform and quality of leads and make sure the money's going in the right direction. But at the end of the day, we still have an account manager at SearchKings talking to our contractors every month and making sure that we understand their business. What new promotions are they offering? Do they have enough field workers? Did anyone, if people are sick or there were issues and we got to slow down that. So managing the humans is very, very important to us. It's not just a SaaS that you run an ad campaign on. And we like Workies for that same approach that whoever is the power user of the FSM, whether it's the office manager or the GM, they better get the support they need. And an FSM that we're looking to partner with is one that holds the hand of the GM or the office manager so that they're not using 5% of the tool. They're using as much of the tool that can help them be profitable.
100%. I think that it's so important, right, to be able to have that partnership approach, even with the clients, like you mentioned here at the end. I'm curious as well, with SearchKings handling Google Ad Management and Workies providing insights and lead quality, how does this collaboration improve ad performance and ensure businesses get the most out of their advertising dollars?
Making sure that we are in the loop on promotions and the true value ads allows us to optimize ad campaigns. The capacity signals that Workies can offers if the board is full, and I can think of St. Louis last week, tons and tons of rain. Restoration companies are getting more calls than they can handle. Plumbing companies are getting more calls than they can handle. We need to be aligned to make sure that we are saving that budget for later on in the month when things are quiet again. And so if the budget used to be $200 a day or $100 a day, let's pull that back when the board is full and Workies can provide that information so that we can save that $100 a day for later in the month. So capacity planning is a big one, call handling, and ultimately we feed Google quality of lead indicators to improve Google Ads performance. We care about that, super important to us, but ultimately our customer cares about how much money they made. And so how many new appointments did they book? How many houses did they get to for that $3,000? Did they get 30 new customers? And they're getting new customers for $100 per customer from Google? Are they getting customers for $200? We need to know that. And working with Workies, it's super visible to see how many new appointments, how much was the initial revenue, and look potentially to align with lifetime revenue as well. Because the service job may be worth $350, but if they are now joining your membership plan, or eventually they need a replacement, well, that that $100 lead sure went a long way.
100%. I think it's also like leads to ask too, like what we're talking about here is there's a lot of growth always happening in this industry, and there's always evolving changes. And considering you're the professional in this space too, like what best practices would you recommend for our field service providers here to get the most out of their digital advertising efforts?
I think making sure that the people answering the phone are aware of the promotions being advertised and the offering. If you're offering a $99 drain cleaning and the customer calls in for that $99 drain cleaning, you make sure you're ready to action that. That's one. Two, the awareness. A lot of our customers make sure that their CSRs or the call handlers know what we're doing. They know that we're generating Google advertising leads. They're coming into this phone number in the office. When that phone rings, that's a $100 phone call. So you're not rushing through that call like you might with rescheduling an appointment. or paying a bill. You might pass those off, but $100 phone call comes in and the customer says, oh, let me check with my spouse. You're remembering that you want to do everything you can to book that job. And if it offers a slight discount on the dispatch fee or waiving the after hours fee, you look at your workies board, and if you're at capacity, then you might not make a deal. But if you're not at capacity and you're spending $100 a phone call and your CSR team is aligned and incentivized to close these leads, you're going to maximize your profitability from your advertising. So that alignment from the strategist for marketing to the person who's answering the calls coming in, when that's aligned, then there's more booked appointments.
Very true. I like the way that you explain that too, like the full flow of it. I'm curious too, because you kind of touched on this briefly. But one key feature of both Workies and the SearchKings integration is automating that lead to call to job process that you were talking about here. Like how important would you say is it automation in today's competitive market so that they can make sure that they are getting that profitability?
I think anything that doesn't impact the customer relationship can be looked at through a lens of, can we make this faster? Can we make this more efficient? Can we have less hands having to touch it? And anything to do with customer sentiment and customer experience can then be focused on with more humans. And so I'm always skeptical of automating the customer experience, but I am super optimistic to automate the notifications when there's a customer who's in market but not ready to convert. Great use of automation to alert you to, we got a customer who's price hunting, or we have a customer who's busy, they have to go pick up their kids, they're going to call us back. Well, do we want to wait for them or do we want to send them a text here? Those are decisions that a human has to make. And so what we do is we alert the decision makers, hopefully more than one in a business, by the way, and not just one person, to customers in need. Now you decide ultimately what's the best approach. Is it a soft text? Is it an empathetic phone call? So that's how I see that.
No, I love that. I like the differentiation there between two, right? As we're stepping into this new world where there's going to be human versus AI, right? The differentiation there is so important. With that being said, too, how do you envision the field service industry evolving in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, we certainly see a lot of private equity and consolidation in the industry. So you're seeing the cost to acquire customers go up. The tolerance for those companies to pay higher acquisition costs. And what we've certainly seen is the consolidators and private equity coming in because they are well aware this is very profitable. It's recession proof. It's pandemic proof. Everyone's home is for the most part, their most important asset. And so you don't wait to fix something in your home that could have structural impact or can harm your family, the air quality, etc. So there's always a need. The question becomes who's able to offer competitive service with a really warm touch and a local feel. I think that most people want to know who they can trust and is the person local. And when a consolidator buys a company, they are also well advised by us. We work with a lot of consolidators and private equity to maintain as much of a local presence as possible, and be on social platforms that are local so that your Google presence is optimized. Your Google business page is active with reviews. You are listed on the directories. You are on these Facebook and Nextdoor groups. So when people do search in multiple places about you or on ChatGPT, that they're going to find you there. And then always have a human answering the phone. Always have a human who can speak to your services. Worst case scenario, you need someone to answer overflow and you hire after hours. Okay, but who gets a text a minute later to say this customer just called in, here's a summary of the call, here's what they needed, could someone call them back? I think whoever maintains a human touch will continue to have lots of opportunity for growth in the market.
I love that. And I think that's a great way to wrap up, because I feel like I could pick your brain for probably like 3 hours. And I know that you're a busy guy, so I don't want to take too much of your time. But I think it's a great way to wrap it up here, is to talk about that human touch, make sure you're building that trust, make sure you're getting your name out there in the ads too, and make sure you're local. I love that. And I'm sure our listeners here are going to love all your responses here today, and going to want to pick your brain as much as I want to. So thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you being on here, and I hope I get to pick your brain again in the future.
Absolutely. SearchKings prides itself on truly taking good care of home service and business owners. And so that's why we work month to month. We don't want to have contracts with people. We make sure it's working, because otherwise we need to keep that money in the owner's pocket. So thank you for having me. We love working with you guys at Workies, and we know that you take great care of customers as well.
Thank you for tuning into the Workies podcast. We hope today's episode has provided valuable insights and inspiration to propel your business forward. Remember to subscribe to our podcast for more engaging discussions and expert advice on navigating the dynamic landscape of the field service industry. I hope you got to unplug a little with us. Until next time, keep innovating, growing, and delivering exceptional service. We'll see you in the next episode of Workies Unplugged.